Good evening, YouTube. Welcome back to Paisano's Music and Vinyl Talk. I am your host, as always, Paisano. Tonight, let's talk about a very, very interesting band by the name of Whitesnake. I did review one Whitesnake album earlier in the channel. Can't really remember which one. Please go back and check it out if you're so interested. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you've been watching any of my videos and not subscribed yet, please do. I'd appreciate it quite a bit. Alright, back to Whitesnake. This is their 7th studio album, simply titled Whitesnake. And this was kind of a rebirth for this band. By far, their biggest album, biggest selling album, critical acclaim, the whole kit and caboodle. This album made them worldwide superstars. They had had plenty of success in the past. They started in 1978. If you remember me talking about this earlier, David Coverdale kind of came out of nowhere and took over for Ian Gillan in Deep Purple in 1974. And he stayed with them for a while, and they kind of fell apart. Richie Blackmore joined Rainbow, and I think Roger Glover went with them, to be honest with you. Maybe even John Lord. Maybe even, yeah. I mean, Deep Purple kind of broke up there for a while, and David Coverdale was looking for his own thing, and he got together an outfit he called Whitesnake, and it had a revolving door of members. Always changing members. And the stars aligned for this one because they had had some success primarily in Europe and Japan. They were a lot bigger than they were in the United States up to this point. But this album broke them through in the States and everywhere else. Titanic album. Sold millions and millions and millions of copies. Had 4 honest to goodness smash singles released. A couple songs on here were kind of recycled from previous albums. And, yeah, they kind of re-released them and re-recorded them and kind of updated them a little bit. But this was David Coverdale with John Sykes. It was his only collaboration with John Sykes, legendary British hard rock guitarist, and Neil Murray on bass, and he had actually the legend Ainsley Dunbar on drums for this album. But by the time the tour came around, and by the time this was actually released, all these guys were gone. And on tour he took Adrian Vandenberg and Vivian Campbell, who Vivian Campbell had been playing with Dio for a few years, so he was already known. And I'm not sure who Adrian Vandenberg was playing with. If anybody out there knows, please comment. Let me know where Adrian came from. But they went out on tour with ex-Aussie drummer Tommy Aldridge and ex-Aussie bassist Rudy Sarzo too, I believe. Let me check our friend Wikipedia here, make sure I got my facts correctly. Facts correct? Yeah. Adrian Vandenberg, Vivian Campbell, Rudy Sarzo, and Tommy Aldridge. And Coverdale called them the Video Kids, because they did all the videos for this album. Because, like I said, this group that actually recorded it was long gone at this point. And they tried to release a follow-up a couple years later. And what was the name of that one? Slip of the Tongue in '89. And that was a pretty big release too. But not nearly the smash that this one was. They toured extensively for this album, as it was, they started off still opening for some groups, but they quickly became headliners and started headlining some festivals in Europe and in the United States. They became real hot, and they adopted more of a glam metal look with this release that they would stick with for a while. Coverdale, I always liked Coverdale. He was always a great guy to have out front. And I believe he wrote a lot of these songs too. I bought this when it came out. This is definitely an original. I mean, who didn't buy this when it came out, either on cassette, CD, or vinyl? Pretty sure this made its way into a lot of record collections. But this definitely bought in 1987 when this was released. It was available anywhere and everywhere, so I can't really say for sure where I bought it. But I listened to it from start to finish, and it is a great rock record. It takes a couple knocks for production, but I think it sounds just fine. There's the lyric sheet. All the lyrics to the tunes. On the back is the newly adopted logo for Whitesnake, which they use going forward and hadn't used up to this point. It's actually on the front cover as well. And on the back is the track listing and the lineup listing of the guys that were on this one and did not tour. Let's go over the track listing. Crying in the Rain, Bad Boys, Still of the Night, Here I Go Again. Side 2, Give Me All Your Love, Is This Love, Children of the Night, Straight for the Heart, and Don't Turn Away. Clocks in. It was a pretty long album. It clocks in at a little over 42 minutes on the U.S. version. It's the washing machine draining upstairs. This has a slight skip on the last song, Don't Turn Away. And I know I didn't play that one that much, so I was probably had a little too much to drink one night when I was 19 years old and dropped the needle on it. Very slight skip. Nothing, but otherwise this album played great and it sounded great. I don't know what else to say about it, other than it was a smash. One of the biggest albums of the 80s, you know, the biggest hard rock albums of the 80s. I mean, it didn't approach, you know, like Michael Jackson or Madonna sales, but it was a huge hard rock release, and it was back when hard rock crossed over into the mainstream. It was just as popular as any other kind of music, as the pop, the so-called pop of the day. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. What will Paisano dig up next week? Tune in, find out. Thank you, and good night, YouTube.